Hey everyone, and welcome to the last vlog of the year. It's time for the 365-day, long-awaited end of the year recap, going through all 12 months of this year while sharing the success and the struggles, things I learned, things I did, everything in between. So I took notes throughout this year of things that I wanted to talk about with you guys. So let's get started. January 2022. January was super chill. This year started out like really easy. It was a breeze. Of course, like the second week of January is usually when we go back to school after winter break. And so, of course, my friends and I, we were very excited to see each other for the first time in the new year and everything. And January for me was kind of like that trial month, trial run just to see, because, 2016 wrecked me. So did 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and a little bit of 2021. And so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't walking into heartbreak part 7 after so many things happening and occurring every single year. And so I was like, okay, are we actually going to have a good year this year? And so January was like that test run to kind of test the waters a little bit. February was lit. Once I started actually trusting 2022 a little bit better, I got a little bit more relaxed. I always love February because of Valentine's Day. I absolutely love Valentine's Day. Everything from the flowers, the cards, the sweet little things that make Love Day what it is, I have definitely loved Valentine's Day as I've gotten older, and people celebrate Valentine's Day, with their significant other or showing love to family and friends. And I love that. But for me, I have really just treated Valentine's Day as more of a day to love on myself. February was such a self-reflective month, and it just made me appreciate who I am as an individual. And that feeling was a top tier Cloud9 experience. March was also a breeze as well. We celebrated my dad's birthday, and spring break was also really good this year. And it was just basically a part 2 of February. April 2022 was a slight mental headache. Not only was I going through stuff at that time, but my friends were also going through things at that time. We all were just dealing with our own situationships, and we were all just leaning on each other because the weight of the existing setbacks on me, and then consciously being aware of my friends' situations as well, it literally had me in warfare mode for all of us. And we were all just beat down and emotionally exhausted. That was a time in my life where a situation occurred between me and someone. I was manipulated, and what hurt more is that, this was someone who I called my best friend for a long time, and someone I trusted for a very long time. And this person was going around saying stuff about me that I had no clue about because it was covered up so well. And it was also a month countdown before the end of freshman year. And so we were just sick of everything and everybody by that time. But I will have to say the saving grace of April was Easter. Easter this year was amazing. And I did a weekend recap, Easter edition, and y'all knew like all of the ups and downs that happened during Easter week, but Easter Sunday was just perfect. As a church kid, Christmas and Easter are 2 of my favorite holidays, easily, 100%. May 2022 was the ride of my life. It was a roller coaster. It was stressful a little bit with all of the end of the year exams, but the best part about it all is that the squad passed and now we're all in the same grade together, hence the reason why it's our sophomore season. Now, as for summer break, if you followed through the entire summer break season with me on Weekend Recap, you know how much of a monstrosity that season was for me mentally and emotionally. I know that my posts were cute and sweet, during that time, but behind closed doors, I felt like my heart was literally being ripped apart. I was in shambles and I was depressed, and it was a very helpless feeling, and it felt worse than grief, honestly. June and July was straight warfare. Like every single day within those 2 months, felt like a struggle to survive, honestly. I had to deal with a lot of things that were outside of my control. I had to deal with a lot of situations that just kept stacking. And what's hard about being in a family where there's not a whole lot of respect for emotional boundaries in certain situations, if it's a problem for them, they're going to make it a problem for you so that you feel what they feel so that you understand. And for me, I'm that kind of person where I'm like, don't try to ruin my peace because you can't find yours. That's a you problem. And it's like if they feel a certain way, they assume that's what you think too. And it's just like, no, that's not how I feel. You didn't ask me what I wanted. You didn't ask me how I felt. You didn't ask me if I have any thoughts about that. Individuality has always been a problem within the family on certain situations. I'm still figuring that out. But it was such an emotional struggle. Like, I felt like every single day my friends were convincing me and I was convincing myself to hold on, because at the same time, I was surviving and not thriving. My best friend, who I called my little brother, moved away after freshman year, and that was a huge change because we've known each other for 5 years and have this great connection. We've known each other since middle school, and we never saw that coming. And so when I'm locked in with certain people who I've been rocking with from the start, that bond is so tight. So, navigating change and figuring out how to deal with people was a mind game. August 2022, I have no clue what coming back to school did, but that was when everything really just came back uphill this year. I don't know if it was being back with my friends, getting into a routine, getting out of being stuck in the house all the time, all day and every day, being more involved with school this year. It just did me so good. And August was so good to me. Now, September 2022. Yo, September was amazing. If every year could go as great as September 2022 did, I'd literally be on cloud nine and I'd be fine. The way Septembered was absolutely perfect. My birthday month this year was beyond anything that I could have ever asked for. My friends made sure that all 30 days of my birthday month was special and amazing. And there was never a day that went by where I didn't laugh or enjoy being with my favorite people. My birthday was so amazing, and I walked into 16 with it being a very personal chapter of my life, and it's been special. October, well, the first half of October was very rocky. I'm not going to elaborate on the situation because that really just traumatized me to an extent that I only talk about it when I'm mentally stable enough for that conversation. Let's just say that I never imagined the fourth quarter of 2022 starting the way it did. I will say it definitely brought my family closer together, and I'll never forget that weekend, because God really performed a miracle for my family, because someone that is very close to me could have passed away and God kept them here, and that was such a blessing for me. That season of my life is one of the main reasons why I was gone the second half of October, because I took a YouTube break, because I could not possibly keep myself above water, trying to keep up with the channel while being under that mental headspace. And even after everything ended with that whole situation, it stressed the demand of making time for the things and the people that matter in my life. And although October started off rocky, towards the end, it got good because homecoming week this year was everything. Now let's talk about November, because November turned out to be an actually beautiful monstrosity. This year I had to break away from a friendship because of divided loyalty, which is the same situation that I mentioned that started in April of this year when I was talking about it earlier. That's the same situation. I talked about it in episode 35 of Thursday Thoughts about this. I was manipulated, invalidated, and borderline harassed. November had its nice little season of warfare, but man, it was definitely a month where God really just showed up on my behalf and he fought for me in ways that I couldn't do for myself. And it was honestly just powerful to see God move in my life like that. When that situation ended, I was, of course, very thankful, very relieved that everything was over. The competition, fighting for attention stopped, the harassment stopped, but I was still emotional because it took time for me to forgive myself for, that situation. I was consumed with trying to get rid of this person that I never took the time to fully acknowledge how I truly felt about it. It was a personal season of life that really just felt weird, but I knew I needed it so that it could steer me in the right direction as we prepare to enter 2023. My family had a great Thanksgiving this year. It was actually drama-free, which is perfect because I don't have time for that. This Thanksgiving really just hit different, and I'm so thankful for my relationship with God, my family, my friends, and just everything that God has done for me this year. Now let's talk about December. Now, the way that I wanted 2022 to end has been honestly beyond a dream. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about Christmas because Weekend Recap that I just posted this week will tell you everything you need to know about how my Christmas went. But it was the most perfect day. I shared a lot in that video, and there's some memories that I'm also going to keep to myself because, I'm in that place of life where I finally get to enjoy things for myself. I spent a lot of time watching other people get what they want, and now it's my season and my time to enjoy what I've been giving all these years, and I am loving it. That was 2022. A little rain mixed with God, sunshine, and pain. Yeah, all of my gospel music lovers just understood where that came from. Things that I learned this year. I learned that I am emotionally capable of handling things that I never thought I would. Some rocks were thrown at me this year and I never saw it coming. But the way God graced me to survive it all, it still baffles me to an extent that is just indescribable. God is so amazing. His strength is perfect, and it has kept me this entire year. I also learned that closing chapters with certain things and certain people is not a loss. It shows that you have maturity and that you respect yourself enough to not let people keep doing the same dirt to you over and over. It shows that you respect yourself enough to have the confidence to live your best life without the unnecessary stress of what isn't for you. I also learned this year that I knew I loved myself when I disassociated myself from things that were draining me and things that were not for my best interest. And to me, that was one of the best feelings ever. Last thing that I learned this year is probably that friendship is one of the most sacred gifts that God has ever given me. I have the friends of my dreams. My friendships have really just elevated to such a special level this year. And those solid friendships that you have with people, it can't be explained. It has to be experienced. Well, guys, that's what I learned in 2022. That was my year. Thank you guys so much for a great year. I shared a lot with you guys because so much happened, and I hope that you felt like you were on the roller coaster, riding the waves with me, soaking it all in. Let's have another great year and do it all over again, and I'll see you guys in 2023. Happy New Year!